Show yo. Show yo. Show yo. Yo, it's POS with Pat and Bobby. News so wild it's never sloppy. Talk the truth, don't make it snobby. Who's the POS? We getting choppy. POS show yo. Show yo. Show yo.
Happy Friday, everybody. Bobby, what's going on? You look all strong. You were working out strong.
Yeah,
you feel strong?
No, I feel the opposite today. I went heavy.
Weak.
Yeah, and so it was just like, come on, you used to be so much stronger than this, but then you realize you're not doing all the supplements you used to back in the day, and you're just happy where you're at.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to be happy where you're at. And if you do supplements, and sometimes when you get off, and then you think, like, was it me or was it supplements? It's better just to do it without, and then you go, once you get to a certain point, you go, I need an edge push. But to start out, it's better off just to go, where can I go natural style?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I never did steroids. It was just like lots of supplements that were as close as you could get while still being legal. And then I took like 5 years off. So it's about finding the time back in the gym. But this isn't a gym podcast. This is two buddies hanging out on a Friday.
Well, which could be a gym podcast if we were gay. But yeah, everyone that's going to be jumping on and you're like, why 1:30? You know, a lot of times we do this and Bobby will be like, I have to last minute show and I got to run here. I'm like, I've got a weekend here or something. This came up or that can work or something. I'm going to get high and eat ice cream while looking at llamas, and that place closes at a certain time. So we're doing this at 1:30 today. And I wish that was a lie. It's a place in Guilford. I was looking it up. I was like, that's the thing. So you can eat ice cream, fresh ice cream, and it's on a farm, and there's also llamas. And I'm like, edibles are there. So
we'll seems like a good day. Yeah, that's a good edible day.
Something. Last night, I Kish. Yeah, I answered him.
I was just saying, Kish.
Nice. Last night I returned back to the place you and I were last weekend, comics, to do the bringer show thing we do there, and I got to see my face on the wall, and it is giant. And when I signed it because the poster made me look like I was black. I wrote, "Why am I black in this? That'll forever be in the green room on my forehead."
That's sick.
Look black, and they put my picture was underneath the head cutout of Ted Alexandro, and if you know that comic, we already look kind of similar anyway, especially not wearing glasses, and our heads are both big, but his was black and white, so it looks like photo negatives of each other right there next to each other. So
that's amazing.
And it was cool, but like I think I told you, I think I might have said to the audience too, my goal now is to start over. I'm gonna really start working on stuff in September, but right now when I go on stage, I'm just gonna play around. I did 20 minutes last night, not one bit of material, just straight crowd work. I hit some home runs, and man, did I strike out a couple times, but it felt really good. Either way, it was a lot of fun. And even that show, like my daughter and her friend and her boyfriend wanted to come to see that because they like to watch people fail.
That seems right. Yeah.
And there was a couple bringer dudes that brought a lot of people. We had a crowd of about 100 people last night for this bringer show, which is crazy. Because the headliner for the weekend, this guy Jesus Trejo, I think his name is, funny fucking guy. I've never watched him. Dude is smooth on stage, man. The delivery is really cool. I don't want to do the guy's whole bit, but he has a bit about how he was so he grew up in a poor neighborhood, but he was the poor guy of the poor neighborhood. So even the poor people were like, "Yo, you're broke." And it was and it was a thing about how they don't have they didn't have cups, they had bowls. So he didn't invite people over for bowls of ice water.
That's pretty good.
And one dude said something like, "Yo, man, I can't drink water at your house no more. It tastes like ham." I was crying. The guy was great. It was very funny. Also, my girlfriend sent me mail the other day. She once in a while, if we mention each other, I like this thing, and we think about it, I'll just send something. You receive it. Oh, that's nice. It's usually just like a practical thing, something like that. And I needed stamps, so she was gonna send me stamp. But she said to me, "Goes, when are you gonna be home?" And I said, "Why?" She goes, "Well, there's a package there, and I think you should grab it off your porch to get a chance." The label that she put from Amazon doing it, my name was Pat Jew Oats. Dude, I got to the porch and I looked at it and I was like buckled over laughing. And I told my daughter and she goes, I hope the mailman thinks they're both short and your real name is Patrick Jewish Oates. Oh, I was crying laughing. And then the stamps she sent me were of manatees. And if you know the joke I was doing on stage, it was very fitting. Like, oh, these stamps will be fun and disgusting at the same time. But yeah, it's been a fun couple of days just relaxing and being over the whole thing. And everybody, thank you for joining Bobby on Wednesday when I couldn't make it there. Just had a bunch of shit going on with work and everything else. But we're here today and we're doing it and we're killing it. And I watched a documentary the other day. I think I said this months ago when I went, but months ago I went to see Cirque du Soleil for the first time. And dude, I'm in. Like, I'm fucking in. Like, when I saw that, I'm like, this is amazing. Like, the show they do, it's incredible. There's a documentary that they put out now called Without a Net, and it's on, I want to say Prime. And it's all about when COVID hit and how their main show in Vegas, the one that's the biggest drawing thing in the fucking world, and it's been going consecutively forever, they had to shut down. They had to fire everybody. They had to wait all the shit, and then coming back and doing the first show, and they get a bunch of different all different types of like the trapeze people, the water people, because this also uses water and shit. So they have to be able to not only flip and shit, but they have to be able to like go underwater and swim and pop. It's insane what these athletes, and they start talking about like, where they get them all from, like they need certain people. Like one guy is like the best in the world at like one certain kind of synchronized swimming. He was a guy. Once it's done in the Olympics, and there's not really spots for guys really anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
This show knew they were happening, so they reach out and like, we need like the Michael Jordan of this thing to put in this show. So these guys, it's all specialists all over the place. But some of them are like with comics, like they're great, but like always with that kind of lifestyle, you don't know how to have regular jobs, and you're just like also on drugs. There's a woman that they're following who's a trapeze who is a nightmare. And when you watch it, you're like, why would they put her in this? I'm like, they put her in this so they can show clips of things, because this lady is just fucking wild. Like, so they're talking to everyone else. They're from their homes. Like, COVID was very tough. One guy's like, I had a P1 visa, which means I was stuck here in America, but I was only allowed to work the job on my visa. So when they didn't allow us to work for fucking Cirque du Soleil, I couldn't work at all anywhere legally, or I'd be sent back home during COVID. And you're like, oh my God. Like, so this guy's just training and hoping and struggling and doing whatever. And so there's all these other people doing things. And she's like getting a tattoo while she's in her video. And she's going like, my boyfriend broke up with me 3 days before I had to do flips. That made me crazy. And then she's like,
I love her.
And they're talking about all her partners, the ones that have to catch her and shit. Because you need trust. But like, I've lost like several partners, which means she was fucking them and breaking up with them. Like, they would do, it was this great documentary, but in the middle, like, we need a little hee-haw. And then this fucking lady's in it. It's called Without a Net. It's great. And I'm saying that because also, I'm going to be going to see another show around Christmas time. I'm telling you, it's the best fucking live thing I've ever seen. It's fucking wild. It's really cool.
I hate to play the antithesis here, but I will. Why did we have to get rid of Genetic Freaks, the movie, but we're allowed to put on Cirque du Soleil every week?
What do you mean?
Like, same level of double jointedness, same level. Like when we were saying, "Hey, look at these freaks," and they got rid of that movie because it was
the movie
offensive,
didn't really put
like,
them in a good light.
Okay, I see where
it
you're
was
coming
exploitation.
from.
This wasn't exploitation. This was a documentary.
So that's how they get around.
And they don't talk about them being free. They're not really free. They're just gymnasts.
No, they're freaks.
No, when you watch, like, most of them are just like super athletes who like work very hard and shit. That's why they're not American for the most part. But like,
so freaks,
and they've just struggled through. No, freaks don't work hard. But that's the difference though. Freaks don't work hard. They're born with a mutation, and that's the hard. You can't fuck with a mutation, but you can fuck with someone with so much work ethic that it's unhealthy. That's okay, because they did it to themselves. But a mutant, and we're just gonna look at it, it's bending weird. You can't do that. Like my Nana, when we were real little, she had double joints, and she was so old she didn't know what the middle finger meant. She's older than the middle finger, I believe. Like, wow. So she didn't even know what that meant. So one day I remember I was like 12 or 13. My brother was like 10. I was 8. We're at dinner and we're talking about double joints. And my brother was like, I think I have one. He's moving his shoulder. It wasn't really a double joint. And my Nana goes, "I've double jointed in my hands." And then my mom's in the kitchen. She walks into my Nana with both her middle fingers up, and her fingers could like fucking move, like circular move. And she's like doing it, and we're dying. We're like, do it again. And she has no idea. We're like fucking going nuts. Nana's giving us a finger, double gun salute. And my mom walks in and goes, "Mom, stop." And she goes, "What? It's my double joint." And she's like, "No idea." She goes, whispers to her. She goes, "Oh," and puts her hands out. I was like, we never got to see it again, but it was so fucking great.
Dude, your grandma would have been the queen of the 90s with that double jointedness. Back when middle fingers were the real thing.
Oh, she would have tagged them with Stone Cold in a couple fucking WrestleManias. It would have been crazy. The Rock and Triple H versus Stone Cold and Nana would fucking be the rule.
Tag me in. So
and she would have been a heel because she was German.
Oh, the best type of heel. Have you seen the boomerang videos that have been going around TikTok where they throw it and it looks like a letter L, but when it flies back, it looks like a swastika? So they play
no, I'm
like
not.
that.
No.
Oh, so it's like a real fun video. He's like, "Oh, check out this boomerang." He throws it and you see it spinning and then it comes in and it looks exactly like it. And it starts playing the German music with Hitler chanting over it and he catches it. And he's like, "What?"
Jesus.
It's amazing.
I've been going down the rabbit hole, and I know these are older, but they've come back in circulation. You know the movie Predator?
Yeah.
The original movie?
Mm-hmm.
You know the ending, right? Where they like do like that weird thing where like it's all over, and then for some reason they did like a sitcom where it's like they'll be like, you know, starring, and it was like Jesse Bobby Ventura, and he kind of like looks at the camera like this, and it says his name, and it's like Carl Weathers, and he's like, and it's all the people, and at the end it's like Schwarzenegger, and so like no movie, you don't get Jason Friday the 13th where he murders people. At the end he's just like posing with friends and hanging out with a dog, but it's like very weird like sitcom type thing. So people, this was like years ago, but it's been coming up again. People started going, what can we put to add into this? So they take 80s sitcom theme songs and put it at that space, and they all fit perfectly. And it's like amazing, like Full House and all they turn. So this one guy, I think, that came back up, he goes, "Well, forget sitcoms. Let's go with like other kind of TV shows that might fit." And he used The Greatest American Hero. That TV, dude, it's the greatest fit ever. Because right when it's like, believe it or not, right when they hit that Schwarzenegger turns, like as they hear, it's like the greatest fit.
Amazing.
Dude, I've been going watching like 20 of those. They're so fucking good.
Hell yeah, I may have to check some of those out.
Just put Predator 80s theme song and hope you get what I'm talking about.
Hey, it's rock and roll part 2. Bum, ba, ba.
Or worse, it's just Predator and theme song. It's just like, I'm gonna fuck some kids. Like, no, I don't want this song.
No. How did they get away with that in the 80s?
Yeah, I wrote this song. So, everyone, thank you for joining us on a wonderful Friday. Bobby, you got any shows or anything this weekend? Anything fun?
Nope. I'm
also off. Yeah.
I was going to say maybe your Cirque du Soleil people should have hit up their friend in Coscob, Connecticut and been like, "Hey, the Yonkers Comedy Club canceled a week before my show. Can you help me out?" And then they could have done an outside show. So maybe I'll have something to report next week.
For Cirque du Soleil?
Maybe. They would have had to have a wealthier friend than I do. But hopefully next week I have a gig to play.
Was it a secret show?
That's what I'm hoping to do now.
Oh, they have one? Yeah.
I'm hoping. Literally, I found out Monday that my show that was supposed to be next Sunday, we're going to push that. And I've checked in like 9 times with this guy to make sure it was happening before I told the comics to hold their Sunday. And so they all have. So now I got to figure out something for these guys.
Yeah, when making my schedules and things, once I knew the special was happening, I literally, like, besides the one show I put on, and then, like, the comic shows I have to do on Thursdays, I took the rest of the month off to kind of just, like, take a break from it so I can get back into it later on. So just working and hanging out and stuff like that. So I've got busy with work and everything this weekend, but we're busy right now with fun fucking stories. And you know who's everyone's favorite lady still? Hawk Tuah lady.
Okay.
Except if you're a Mets fan, then you fucking hate the Hawk Tuah lady because she's disgracing the Mets. And you know what she did to disgrace them?
She's not Jewish or autistic.
She just existed. WFAN host and Met fans lose their minds over the Hawk Tuah girls throwing a first pitch at the game. They are outraged because the Mets had her come and throw out the first pitch because it makes them look like lesser thans, they believe. Which is crazy because she's one of the most famous people in the world. I mean, it's America in the moment. Maybe it's a little bit past it. It's a couple weeks away, but we still all know it. If you say it, the grandma test, for a second, she hit the grandma test. It's probably gone now, You're like, oh, that girl that they keep talking about saying the hockey stuff. Like, yeah, it's the hockey stuff, Grandma. Give the
Hockey
finger
girl,
again.
Grandma.
Right. Met fans split on the team's decision to have Haley Welch, also known as the Hawk Tuah girl, throw out the first pitch before Thursday's painful 7-6 loss to the A's. I like that the post throws that in. It's like, way to lose to the A's. Welch became a viral sensation. For those who don't know, Welch became a viral sensation earlier this year when she described a sexual act in an explicit manner. By the way, I saw a video of the first pitch. Wasn't bad. She stood a little bit in front of the rubber. There's nothing wrong with that. They don't really want you to stand on the rubber anyway. But she was on the mound. She threw it just kind of like a heave like this. It was her friend that caught. They didn't put a catcher out there, which kind of is smart. Don't put a dude with the young Hawk Tuah girl. You know what I mean?
It's going to be bad imagery, yeah.
Or she tries to make a joke that makes him look weird because she's the Hawk Tuah girl. What if she, like, grabbed the ball and then put her head, like, just jokingly, like, went through his crotch? That dude's in trouble now with a wife. It makes sense. The Mets were like, bring your friend out. It was a cute little girl, whatever. Threw the ball at her. They jumped up together and chest bumped. Not like anything sexual, just like being sports people. And that was literally the entire thing. She made the throw to the girl at the catcher's plate, and that was it. Done. Over. Outrage. The Yankees have Aaron Judge and Juan Soto breaking records. The Yankees got Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Lou Gehrig, and we have fucking Grimace and now the Hawk Tuah girl. So if you don't know, a couple weeks ago, or like a month or so ago, Grimace of McDonald's fame also threw out the first pitch for the Mets because they were doing that whole Grimace resurgence. They're doing, McDonald's now is even giving out the classic cup for a collection. You can get all those things. McDonald's is doing like an anniversary thing. So they sent out Grimace because people kind of forgot about Grimace. And I don't know, if I was at the Mets game and I'm spending too much money on beer and hot dogs and shit like that, but I look out at the giant purple guy or the Hawk Tuah girl throwing a ball, I'm like, this is fun. I don't care how much money I'm spending. They're having fun. They're not taking it serious.
Anything you can to forget you're at a fucking Mets game.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess so. I mean, but I mean, the field's beautiful, the game's there, whatever. But like, and I don't mean to go into like this isn't my piece of shit, but like my editorial type part at the beginning of the story. But like, you know what sucks when they're like, here's the last remaining Holocaust survivor to throw out the first pitch. Have fun. Hey, here's a guy that all his platoon died in Vietnam, and he's the only one left, and he'll throw the ball off his one good stub. And it's like, no, Can we have fun? The Hawk Tuah girl.
You're at Fenway Park, and they're like, here's the guy who organized the N-word protest when we signed the first one. Like, he's here to throw out the... And you're like, I don't know about that.
And I'd rather go, oh, wait, is that the tall one from Backstreet Boys that no one knows his name? Yep, that's Kevin. Okay, that's fun. Kevin, how you doing? Hey, look, it's Rob whatever. It's like, wait, he looks familiar. Oh, wait, that's Vanilla Ice. They're using his real name now. Yeah, and he throws the ball. He's like, stop. Now catch this pitch. And you're like, oh, yeah, shit, he tied it in.
Oh, God, he said, word to your brother, motherfucker? Like, he's in the Adam Sandler movie again?
He moved his mother. Is it the biggest deal in the world? No, absolutely not. Does it mean anything on the field? No. But that's the problem. The problem on the field isn't good enough. And when you come up with these silly gimmicks that you're laughing stock, it's a joke. Hawk Tuah. Dude, people are pissed. That was the guy on the fan, like there was the radio host doing a rant. You know your season's bad when you're focused on the first pitch, by the way.
Yeah.
If that's your problem,
then
you know your season stinks and you got to talk about something. The Mets previously went viral this year for a wholesome reason when they had Grimace, in case you don't know, the large purple friend of Ron McDonald throughout the first pitch. The first pitch, though, struck a chord with some since Welch became famous for, answering the question, what's one move in bed that makes a man go crazy every time? So they're all upset about that. Like, it's like being not family or wholesome or friendly. Grow up. It's like, it's baseball. There's a lot of shit going on there anyway. Half these guys are rapists.
Same with Vanilla Ice. Like, his lyrics were just as explicit.
Well, I don't know if he threw out the pitch. I made that one up.
No, I've got something for mine I'm going to share with you in a second. It's not Vanilla Ice, but it's pretty darn close.
Okay. You got to they do the quote. By the way, take a guess how many views that video, the original video on that site. It's not hers, by the way. Two other guys who do that thing, they got that. Take a guess at how many views as of this morning that, spit on it on that thing got.
500 million.
Oh, no. 6.8 million, but still.
6.8 million. I meant thousand when I was saying that.
I was like 500 million.
No.
All right, Bob. Bobby's expectations are insane.
What, you tell me it's not as popular as the POS show?
Dude, if Jesus came back, he might hope to get 500 million. Welch has since revealed that she quit her job to go travel, leading into her internet celebrity status, and that her travel had her standing on the Citi Field Mount throwing out a first pitch to her friend. So she's handling this right. She's getting all the appearances and things you do to stay relevant. It's smart. She's getting talked about again. I don't see what's wrong with it. And she didn't do anything wrong. She literally threw out a first pitch. And she's controversial, I guess. I don't really see it as controversial. I see the people that ask the questions to drunk women and put them in a weird fucking spot as controversial. And I give her credit for leaning into this instead of being like, this is embarrassing. Go to fuck it. If you're going to bother me when I'm drunk and I'm going to make you money. By the way, I don't know if you know this. I read this in another article like a while back. Those two guys are like trying to sue her because they feel like they should be getting more credit for her fame. And it's like, you got 6.8 million views. Like, shut up. You're welcome. Yeah. Most traffic you ever got.
And if it wasn't that you luckily found one entertainer, you'll have another hit. Like if you were truly successful for her success, if you were truly responsible for her success, you'll find somebody else that you can make that famous.
Well, and women that want to be famous like this are going to come up and say wild or crazy as shit. And you can even have like a fun trying too hard compilation or whatever. But like, I usually don't like to read like when they go to Twitter or X for the comments on this.
Yeah.
But these are comments. These are comments by Met fans that aren't happy about them. Multiple X users slammed the Mets. Oh, people are mad at the Mets for having her. I'm sorry. Being promoted before an afternoon summer weekday game. So it's the afternoon, it's daytime. Who cares? Which can include mostly children. On a day where the stadium is full of summer camp kids, this is who you pick to throw out the first pitch? Disgusting behavior. It needs to be addressed and somehow needs to be fired. Someone needs to be fired. I will not support this type of activity from a sports franchise. Really? Remember Dwight Gooden and Darryl Strawberry? Remember when Vince Coleman used to fucking do fireworks at people's assholes? Hey, half your guys have had a lot of sexual fucking deviancies and problems and shit like that. Shut up. There's so many cocaine and issue. Shut up. Another
also,
comment.
Hopefully it deters all the children from coming to become Met fans. Hopefully they can go to the better New York team right up the road and they're like, oh God, this is wholesome baseball. Like you're saving people. The Mets suck. If they were good, I'd get this argument. They're terrible. They're the worst team in baseball.
And, well, also, you could have that opinion, but people root for bad teams too. I mean, there's Cleveland Brown fans forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a Cleveland Brown fan. Right. I wouldn't bitch if we had the blowjob chick there. I'd be like, we do suck. I get it. Right. I get the tongue-in-cheek joke.
But to me, to say that your kids probably don't even know who she is. They probably just heard the hot tube, but they don't know what it means. And either you can learn how to be a parent and have a conversation if they ask, or if they say, who's this girl? And she goes, oh, she's famous for YouTube. And they go, okay, thanks. And then you move on in life.
Yeah, she threw a spitball. That's what she's famous for. She puts a little Hawk 2 on it.
I was hoping she did that. She didn't. I bet you she asked to. She seems smart enough and marketable enough. She's a Tennessee girl. They're smart. They always look pretty, but they're always smarter than you believe. And and she seems like she's a bit savvy, or she's got the right people behind her at least.
Absolutely.
This almost feels like she knew they were going to be doing something and she kind of planned it, because this line is like, if you think about how she answered it, she hit a home run with this. And maybe she thought, maybe some of those people are just, but some people do like, nope, they do not. But some people do think about that. Not like they're planning it, but they're like, if I ever fall into this situation, I would do this and this. And you fall into the situation and you do it and it works out for you. You know, someone else commented, I usually find these types of things entertaining, but have her to come during an afternoon game over the summer where thousands of camp kids are in there, not great. Someone did not plan that very well. Some focus on the potential awkwardness of having to explain to a child who Welch is and why exactly she became famous. Try explaining this to your kids. Mets fans, sorry, wow. Who's the girl, mom and dad? What does she do? The decision maker to have her throw the first pitch should be fired. Everybody wants to get fired. I hope they have to do bad at their jobs. We can fire them. Maybe get off the internet and commenting on shit that doesn't involve you. Maybe you're doing that work. Maybe we should fire you, stupid. Unlike Grimace's first pitch, which galvanized the Mets back into the playoff race, the Hawk Tuah era began with the Mets blowing a 5-0 lead to one of the worst teams in franchise. So now it has an effect on their playing. That is stupid. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Hawk Tuah girl for leaning into this and going around doing appearances and stuff like that? Is it the Mets? The big complaint they seem to be is when it happened. I'm not an event planner for baseball. I'm not an event planner in any way. But I do understand when you reach out to someone famous, or more importantly, when someone famous' people reach out to you, because that's how these happen. They're going to be in certain areas, and someone's like, how do we get more exposure? And they'll be like reaching out to the Mets and going, hey, just so you know, Haley's going to be around. And they're like, oh, cool. Do you think it'd be cool if she threw out first pitch? She can do that if you have something going on. We have appearances that night, so we were looking at the day game. That's cool. And then they work out the schedule. It's not like she's sitting at home waiting to go to the Mets game and can do the one that you feel is the most X-rated. You know what I mean? That's not what the fuck it is. So they just chose her to do it. Is it people and parents saying, how do we explain this to our kids? I literally just broke that down, but more importantly, you just don't. I'll guarantee you there's been many other times your kids ask, hey, mommy, why does that guy have his hand in a weird spot at the table underneath with that woman? And why does she look like she's smiling and stuff? Do you go, oh, he's finger blasting her? Or do you go, don't look at that, eat your food? That's what you normally do anyway. Oh, who's that girl? If that happened to me and I wasn't sure how to explain that, hey, Dad, who's that woman? Why is she famous? Why is she out there? Which they wouldn't ask. That's an adult thought. They wouldn't ask why she's famous. They'd go, oh, that girl's throwing a pitch. Well, I hope one day I can throw out a first pitch. Well, if you work real hard, maybe you can. Who's that girl? Oh, she's just a famous girl, and they let them throw out the first pitch. Done. Or, if you can't handle that, it's very simple. Hey, Daddy, who's that girl? Who wants cotton candy? Me. Thought gone. You were done. Distraction over. Is it the Mets, the sports reporter guy for WFAN losing his mind? I get it. Content. Now they mentioned you in the paper. You're trying to get content, but you sound stupid. You sound dumb. Are you worried about the caliber of person that throws out the first pitch? Do me a favor, Bobby, real quick, top of your head. Name me 5 other people who threw out the first pitch for the Mets this year. Oh, wait. Who fucking knows? Met fans wouldn't know. If you had season tickets, you probably don't fucking know. Guess what? We heard about her. You're welcome, Mets fans, because now people are like, oh, yeah, the Mets. Maybe I'll go to a game. They're not playing that well. Maybe tickets will be a little bit cheaper. It doesn't fucking matter who throws out the first goddamn pitch. You forget it. Hey, who sang the national anthem? You remember? Abso-fucking-lutely not. You're getting mad over stupid shit for no fucking reason. Who's the piece of shit in this story, Bobby?
So I would say it's definitely not Haley, right? She's just doing her job. And it sounds like she did a pretty good first pitch. Did you see MGK's by any chance?
Yes, I did. And first of all, I'm more upset at that one.
That's my point. Like, he made a mockery of what a first pitch should be. I have it here if you want to show the people.
Yeah, I would like to show it. I'm happy you brought that up because I saw it the other day and I did not like that. I'm not really caring about it, but he was being a dickhead.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it wasn't even, if you throw a bad pitch, we have all been there. This is just clowning.
And he, by the way, people know it. He didn't throw it to anyone in particular. He just launched it into the seats, and he thinks it's cool that he threw someone the ball. But that's the ceremonial first pitch to say we're starting the game. And it's like, you're just saying, fuck your rules, I'm better than you. And what's the purpose in that? The girl you're offended by, the Hawk Tuah girl, went on the mound and obviously worked on at least making the throw, cared, wore a Mets jersey, had her friend come out there, didn't disrespect your players because she probably knew, or her camp, more importantly, knew, her camp probably knew, that just like if you were trying to have like a porn star or somebody go out there, which they wouldn't do at that point, but if they say they did, they're going to have somebody there to not be look bad and go, oh, they're with this person or whatever. And they let her, or maybe she felt safer. No offense, I am a young girl. I would just like to be with can my friend do it with me? And they're like, of course, whatever. And they probably, and for them to do a throw to a catch, the girl caught the ball too. They probably worked on it. Way more than MGK last second. It's like, wouldn't it be funny if I launched it to the, and then, fuck you, everybody, I'm MGK.
I'm pumped.
That's not family friendly. You just taught, I would rather my kids ask me a question, how did this girl get famous? She said something kind of crazy and rude on the internet. And just to tell you, if you say something crazy on the internet, sometimes the whole world could find out. Now she's working on making herself seem better, and she's working on not being that way anymore by going around. So it's a lesson to learn. What about that guy? Why did he throw the ball in the crowd? Because he was told not to. Right away, a kid goes, I want to do shit like that. I want to do shit I'm not supposed to do because like MGK. It's a worse lesson there anyway.
Absolutely. So it's not her for that reason in particular. Also, like, she got famous, but since she's gotten famous, she hasn't launched an OnlyFans. Like, she hasn't leaned into the porn thing. She's clearly trying. She did Whitney Cummings podcast. Like, she's talking about Toe Mater and stuff. Like, so
did you hear about the Bill Maher podcast?
Where he tried to convince her to start his own, or he wanted to start his own porn thing around
trying to sexualize her when she just brushed it off.
That's why, you're absolutely right. She's not a whore.
But I'm saying she's not a whore, but she's not saying that's not who I am. She's not doing the whole Katy Perry thing. It's like, I kissed a girl and I liked it. And then 2 years later going, that's not me. That's terrible. Don't act that way. It's like, that's who you were 2 years ago. She's not afraid to say who she is. She knows it's just a one-hit wonder type thing, but she's trying to roll it into something. She'll end up having a good YouTube podcast. I mean, that'll be what happens with a big following. It'll be
Probably
it might
on
be
Whitney
sexual.
Cummings
It might be sexual advice. It might be like how not to act on the internet for girls. They'll lean into something, but so what? She seems personable and shit. You're on.
Secondly, you gave a beautiful way to get out of it if you had to explain it to your kids, right? But that's coming from a normal perspective, not the perspective of a Mets fan who, as we know, their fan base is made entirely of two people, extremely Jewish and extremely autistic. So they wouldn't be
forgetting a third, but okay, there is a third.
Who's the third?
Extremely Latino.
Oh, yeah. But they don't mind the Hawk Tuah. They had no problem. Those kids are 12. They already know it.
Well, their parents aren't there either.
Yeah. but if you're an autistic Mets fan and you have to explain to your kid why the Hawk Tuah girl is there, you go, oh, she was a big Roberto Alomar fan. Sometimes when the umpire makes the bad call, you got to spit on that thing. Hawk Tuah. Are we forgetting one of your players was famous for spitting on another human being? Like, you're going to draw the line in the sand there. You didn't bench Roberto Alomar, did they?
You guys still say, oh, man, Lenny Dykstra was real good. You do. You say that a lot. Lenny Dykstra was a fucking nightmare of a human being.
Yeah. He lost his dentures in a fucking dumpster, and they had to go dumpster diving for him.
He went online and asked people to give him a ride so he could sign autographs and shit. And then when he did it and got money, he didn't give that guy gas because he said the pleasure was his to talk to me in the car. A stranger picked him up and drove him somewhere.
That's fair. That is that guy's pleasure.
Tuah's not doing that. Tuah's got her own ride.
But yeah, so like in the Mets suck. Do something. Like, do you remember there was a movie came out called Major League where the Cleveland Indians manager set up the worst baseball team, was trying to make them lose. What did they do? They sexualized that bitch. Every win they got to take a piece of clothing off of her poster in the locker room. Like, that's what you do when your team sucks. You find a rallying cry. It should have been Hawk Tuah. Maybe you can get Wakefield out of retirement to throw some knuckleballs, get movement on there. They think he's spitballing. He's not. It's 100% the Met fan base. Be happy with what you have. It should be nothing. You should have just unalived a long time ago as a fan base. Like a Jonestown type. Maybe that's what they should do. They should hire Jim Jones to come out, and they could give free Kool-Aid away.
Around.
All right, well, someone like that.
Right.
A Jim Jones type. And then they all drink the Kool-Aid, and we don't have any more Mets fans. Problem solved.
My when I was in college, my a roommate of mine was a big giant guy, and he was dyslexic, and he was very loud and deaf. He would always just yell out crazy things. Like one time, his breath smelled bad. We kept saying, "Dude, brush your teeth." And finally, he just goes, "What?" And then we're like, "Dude, brush your teeth." And he just goes, "I have chronic halitosis." So we would always sing like "Supercalifragilistic chronic halitosis." He was always a very loud guy that we make jokes out of. The one time he got in an argument with me because he thought I didn't pay my part of the rent, which I did, and he decided on his own to be like, take a piece of paper and write down who paid and who didn't pay on the fucking fridge and put it down. Now, I went up to his room earlier because he has a bunch of like VHS tapes at the time. It's like the mid 90s, late 90s, and he had copies of movies, and one was Major League. And I looked down at it, and he had spelled league wrong. So as he comes downstairs and he starts yelling at me, "Pat, see the paper?" And he wrote on the paper, he wrote paid P-A-Y-D and not paid P-A-Y-D. So I let everything go until he goes, you're not fucking paying at all. You're a fucking idiot. And I just went, "Oh, how's Major Legue?" And he goes, "What?" I go, "Oh, the famous French movie Major Legue. L-A-G-U-E, Legue. What the fuck is that in? Major Legue in French?" He's like, "Fuck you." And I go, "It's P-A-I-D, stupid." And screamed and walked out of the room. Then we went at beers later. It was fine. But whenever I hear Major League, I think of Major Legue every fucking time. The piece of shit in this story is definitely not Haley. I actually like I love how she handled this. Because you know what we didn't hear in that article?
Her response.
You'll get a response. I'm moving on to the next. She's already 5 appearances past it. Whatever it is, if that happened yesterday, she's got 3 things going on today. She's got a good marketing team. They're doing more than most people do. Most people that go viral aren't even still around at this point being talked about at all. She's smart. She's handling it. Like you said, she's not being sexualized. Maybe she will later.
That's her right. Yeah.
It's her right to do whatever she wants with that fucking thing. She took an opportunity and she fucking ran through the door. Everyone always says, seize your opportunities, go for what you want to do until you do it, and then everybody gets mad at it. It's not Met fans who were mad about the team being a disappointment and then therefore feel like they're getting second fiddle. I understand that feeling. I bet you the Yankees would have also had her there. It just didn't line up schedule-wise because if the Mets are home, the Yankees are away, and she probably was around. I think most teams would literally take her at this point because she is so viral. You know what I mean? I think Steinbrenner back in the day would have said no, but the new group with the younger ones and all that, I think they would just jumped on anybody to go, wow, she's here. They probably wouldn't even have like a bobblehead night where spit came out of it. Like they do a lot of different crazy shit.
I'm just laughing. Do you know who they actually had throughout the first pitch this weekend? It is a funny comparison.
Who is it?
Caitlin Clark.
Right.
And they have all the images of all the heat, like Aaron Judge being like, she's amazing.
Right.
So maybe they do have a tad bit of an argument there.
To be honest with you, no, that actually helps my point. Because that proves that they're also not thinking about everyone's opinions. Because there are a lot of black women who are very upset that Caitlin Clark is in a position, a lot of lesbian women. There are two big groups that are not happy with the way Caitlin Clark has been pushed and done all this way. Yes, Hawk Tuah girl said something, but there really are groups of people that might protest the Yankees and things of that nature going, why is she getting, how come Brittany Griner hasn't thrown out a first pitch? How come they're going to name all the black women? Cheryl Swoops never threw out a first pitch. Oh, so Caitlin Clark gets to? She's not even the best player in the league. What the fuck is it? It's the same kind. You just go after the people that are famous and you're going to go whatever. It's a fun appearance to tie in two worlds. It's all it is two podcasts that when they're both famous and well known, when Tom Segura goes on Rogan and then Rogan goes on Segura, it's to move the markets around a little bit to get people to look at each other and think, now they're the same fucking group. Back in the day, you did shit like that. You swap. Andrew Schultz to Rogan is a better example. The younger people that watch that go watch the old thing and go, oh, Rogan's cool because he said he's cool. And then the Rogan people go, oh, this is a cool young kid. I'll go check out the thing because Rogan said to. And you go, you're doing that thing. The Yankees are like, hey, Caitlin Clark, because a lot of women are getting into sports more now than ever. And one of the reasons is Caitlin Clark. So you get her there and go, oh, that's cool. They're honoring her too. You know, it's all men playing other things. At least people are here. I get that. To me, the piece of shit is anyone that's calling for the job of the person, because several people said that, of the person who made this decision. Do you know how hard it is to be a marketing person at a major league baseball level? You're not just sitting there going, oh, my whole day is about who's going to throw out the first pitch. That's like number 857 of all the things.
Yeah, that's the fun part of the job. Yeah.
I guarantee you it's so unfun that an intern is told, here's 12 names, coordinate all the schedules on the right. I want all 12 of them doing it at some point. I don't care which game or day. Just let me know, throw on my desk. Let me know if someone can't make it, and maybe we'll just, and if they can't make it, we have a couple of veterans, hit them up, go through that thing, see if they can do it. By the way, who's doing the flag? Who's the band coming out? You know, when they want the marching band thing, whatever, to do the thing with a salute, and who's doing the national anthem? Boom, boom, boom. Get that all out of my way, because I've got to work on the promotion for today, for tomorrow, or next week. We got to make sure we have enough bobbleheads and helmets and all that kind of shit. We've got people coming out during the seventh inning stretch and doing this and that. Whatever. There's a million things going on. All the VIP suites need to get certain things. There's a zillion things they're doing that they have to do where they don't give a fuck about that at all. We also need to make sure you got the security people to walk with her. We need people to know to get her through the tunnel in time. We need to make sure that everyone's got their passes. There's a million things. They don't give a fuck. And they're going to be fired. They're probably going to get promoted for a thing they didn't even know they did. Want to know why? Because people are talking about the fucking Mets.
Yep.
People are talking. They're going to look to see who else is throwing out the first pitch. For the first time, they're going to Google who's throwing out the first pitch today when they go to a baseball game to see if someone else will be like that. They're like, oh, wait, the redheaded one from the Spice Girls? Interesting. And then they might go to the game. There's something different. It's like, who's throwing out the first pitch? Martin Luther King III? Oh, wow, that's crazy. Like, you go check it out. You don't know it's going to be Drake. He's not doing anything. Maybe he can do it. So it could be anyone, and you're excited. So if you're calling for someone's job, you are hot fucking garbage. You're a piece of shit. Someone should be fired for making a mistake. I would love to go to your work and see your mistakes and just get you fucking dropped in a second.
Yeah, I've been known to say anybody who tries to take somebody else's job away for their feelings being hurt is a fucking pussy.
I wouldn't call them a pussy. I would just call them a Visconti. But what I'm saying is,
Synonymous.
you don't need to yell at somebody for throwing the fucking ball. You know what I mean? It's stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it was a strike down the middle, but faster than you could throw it. Anyway.
And gay. But, Bobby, what you got?
So we talked a little bit about one pop culture figure. You know another woman everybody loves, Pat? Taylor Swift.
They love her. And yet, you know who doesn't love her? People with knives.
And Kanye West, apparently, who I'm guessing had some knives.
Yeah,
the motherfucking saga continues.
It doesn't stop.
The saga between Taylor Swift and Kanye West continues. Well, that was
Kanye and Tay-Tay. That's fun.
Like an unfinished chapter in a novel that refuses to close. It all began in 2009 when Kanye West infamously interrupted Taylor's acceptance speech at the MTV VMAs. Since then, the two have been locked in a public feud, marked by moments of reconciliation, only to be torn again by new provocations. Recently, Taylor took what fans believe is another subtle jab at Kanye during her ongoing Eras tour, performing a live version of her song Thank You, Amy, from her latest album, The Tortured Poets Department. Swift made a small but significant change. She restylized the song into Thank You, Amy, with a capital Y and an E, clearly referencing Kanye, who legally changed his name to Ye in 2021. Swift's fans immediately caught the reference, praising her for the clever shade, while Kanye West supporters were quick to criticize, saying she needs to get over it. The tension between the two fan bases only fueled the fire, with each side defending their icon. The feud has not been personal, but also professional. Just last week, Swift's album, The Tortured Poets Department, blocked Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign's collaborative album from reaching the top of the Billboard charts. This marks Kanye's first album in 11 releases that didn't debut at number 1. It's clear that the feud is still going. Who is the piece of shit in this story? Is it Taylor Swift? Yes, he ruined your big moment, but maybe it's time to let things go. You've clearly had the more successful career since that point. There have been highs and lows for both of you, but you're trending upward. He is not. Is it Kanye? Figure out when Taylor's releasing her album and release years later. You don't want to compete with that giant. You know what I mean? Do the Rocky 3 thing where you avoid the real contenders. Is it the public who's still fueling this and shaping it as Kanye versus Taylor, when in reality, all it's doing is exactly what you were describing with Tom Segura and Joe Rogan and the other Andrew Schultz. In the last thing, like Taylor readdressing this controversy is going to bring attention to Kanye. Kanye, if he addresses it, will bring attention to her, and you might get some crossover between those two fan bases. Now, I think you're going to be more likely to have people who are fans of Taylor listen to Kanye than the other way around. But at the end of the day, all this competition is doing is moving albums. Who's your piece of shit, Pat?
Not Taylor Swift in any way. Taylor Swift, I know you're saying move on. I get it with a lot of things. That man tried to steal a moment that girl fucking earned. And no matter what she does in retaliation, it'll never have the same effect because he's already famous. He's already, more than just a rapper at this point. He's this weird, crazy icon that people just know. He's in the zeitgeist forever. Yeah, so is she. But she's dealt with a lot of hate for literally being a girl who sings songs. Everybody picks on her. You either are the Monster fan or you're like, fuck her, she's not good. She did it, which is insane. She's the Beatles of this stuff that time. Like, she really is. Like, and there are people to this day who go, the Beatles aren't good. You may not like them, but you can't say neither one of them are good. They became the most famous for doing their craft. People like what they do. Sorry, it is. You may not agree with things in their lives, things like that, whatever. For Kanye to do that at a thing where if that's someone did that to him, he'd be still crying for the rest of his fucking life. He cries over most things that happen to him all the time in his life. It is not her in any way. I don't feel it's like the same thing with Rogan and Schultz and stuff like that, because it isn't a two-way street. We're not trying to help each other. The piece of shit is Kanye and Kanye's people. Not so much for what he did back in the day. This is just how Kanye actually reacts like a psychopath and doesn't think and all that stuff. It's because I believe they wanted all this to happen.
Yeah.
I believe that they wanted, because guess what? People weren't thinking about that album coming out. Kanye's been in the last couple of years so much stuff that people are kind of like, I'll listen to it, but I'm not going to talk about it. They're not going to go as crazy. You can't promote it as much. You still said all the shit about the Jews, man. It doesn't matter if an actor came out and made it cool for you. You said that shit. You said when you jumped on the Trump thing. A lot of people that don't like Trump and didn't like what you were doing don't like that shit. You didn't treat Kim the best. And a lot of people are fans of that. And also just a fan of like Mary and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that Kanye has done that has been really fucking weird that people are going to fall back a little bit on your music. It's just going to happen. But if you come out and say, look, they've stopped me from having a #1 album, drop your album at a different fucking time. Listen, at a much lower level, Bobby, last year, when we were going to drop our album, we looked at dates and things just to make sure we got some pre-sales. And there was 2 or 3 comedians. Might have been Shane. There was somebody that was coming out with a big one, and we're like, well, let's hold off a week or 2.
Yeah,
I'm not going to get anything anyway, but let's try to do it on a weekend where no one's really dropping anything. So I go on enough podcasts to talk about it, I get a little bit of traction. But imagine if I put out the same week as Shane was like, this motherfucker cockblocked me. I was going to be #1.
Yeah, exactly.
And I hate to say it at this point, and I'm not saying anything against how bad Kanye being a bad performer. He's an amazing performer. But it's the same thing because Shane is at such a level. Shane's doing, you and I last week were at the casino. We saw they had to add a 3rd show in an arena that holds 6,000 people. So because he already sold out 2 shows. A third, you know what a casino has to do to move around to have a 3rd show? And not even that, not during the week. A Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're doing the entire, it's insanity what they're doing with that. Like, so that's nuts that they do. Taylor Swift does that all the fucking time. They're at a level where you're like, it's apples to oranges at this point. And to come out and say, oh, they're ruining this, you're just getting people to go, oh, he has an album, and they go look at it now.
Yeah, and I think you nailed it 100%. That like if I was Kanye's team, I wouldn't address this at all. Like I was reading through that. I'm a big Kanye fan. Sorry, Baldessano, I see you're not a very big fan, but I like his music. I didn't realize he had another album come out. That's how bad he's been down as of late. So if anything, Taylor doing this kind of gives him some attention. And by the way, I don't think Taylor's the piece of shit at all. Take cheap shots as long as you want. You've earned it. Like when somebody fucks with you that way, you pretty much, even if you're more successful than, like if she came out and did a whole diss song about Kanye, it would be stooping down to his level. If she called her tour, fuck you, Kanye, that might be a little different. Like, look at this world tour. I'm humiliated. You know what I mean? Like, so by doing it in her tongue-in-cheek mouth way, I think it works. It's a nod to her fans like, hey, I'm still dealing with this, but I don't think she's at fault. For me, the piece of shit is whoever chose, like you said, we don't have a big record label. However, we did do research to see when it would be best to put yours out. You should do the same with music. This isn't...
Most people do. Some people try to go in it so they can make this talk about that. It would have been... Isn't it crazy that mine came out the same time? Wait, Barbie Oppenheimer.
Yep.
I bet you at times they were like, I know they're not the same kind of movie, but maybe at different times. And then one of them was like, fuck it, we're sticking to our date. And the other one. And then somehow some marketing guy goes, how do we make these both work? And that was a crazy thing they did. Like, you know what I mean? If they really wanted to make that work, imagine if someone said, if you want to download this before anyone else, and you never thought they would collab, if you get Taylor Swift and Kanye's album at the same time, you save $5. And you're like, what? The meeting that no one, heaven versus hell, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Hell froze over, fucking download, whatever it would be. You know, his album is now available everywhere today.
Who?
Post Malone's New Country one.
Really?
F1 Trillion. I mean, he's already dropped like 4 songs off it, and his collaborations have been amazing. He did it with Blake Shelton. He did it with Morgan Wallen. He did it with Luke Combs. Those 3 songs are all great. He's got
like Meatloaf said, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Right, but no, those 3 songs are all fucking.
The songs are great. Blake Shelton's a rhinestone cowboy.
Yeah, but he was perfect for the style that Post wanted to go to. It wanted to be an old school country song, so it kind of made sense with that anyway. So I do like that stuff, but it comes out today. I will guarantee you, because I've seen enough interviews with Post Malone and just seen that way he is. If this came out at the same time as a Taylor Swift one, and someone said, how do you feel about that? He'd go, dude, Taylor's album is awesome and everybody should get it. That's what Post Malone would say. And then she would turn around and go, I love that guy, because she's been quoted as saying that. She goes, he writes lines where I go, fuck, I wish I wrote that. And I remember there was a video where they were crossing paths at like an award show. And she yelled out the line he said about a song. And she She goes, I'm so fucking jealous. She's more of that line as their people are walking them by. And he goes, holy shit, Taylor Swift listens to my music. It was genuine. They didn't have time to set that up. It was real. It's like a lot of people embrace that. They're all just little kids who want the world to love them because they're doing their art and creating. So when this piece of shit walked out on stage all those years ago and stole that from her, I'd be mad forever too.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I get it. I'm right there with you. And at a certain point, you are doing the thing you said you wanted to get to do, right? Like you, as a musician, you wanted to be a musician. We've heard the stories about Kanye's when he was a producer. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a famous rapper. Check out listen to me. And then it worked. Why are you angry? Like there's nothing worse than when you see somebody who has everything they said they wanted being miserable and bitter about it. Right?
Dude, Chris really hates Kanye.
I do see what he says about Kanye too. It's not quite.
And I do see what he says about me singing Pavarotti over that. But then again, you haven't heard me sing Pavarotti. I'm amazing. Pat Pavarotti is one of the greatest of all times. Pat Pavarotti is amazing.
Aren't you opening for Andrea Bocelli at his 30th anniversary this coming December?
No, but I might be going to that.
That's actually sick, dude. I'm a little jealous.
Yeah, the tickets are fucking insane.
I know, because when we were at the casino, I looked. I was like, I might get this for my. Oh, no, I will not.
Yeah, dude. Put it this way: for one ticket, you could get 5 Doobie Brothers tickets. I saw that. I was like, that's because Michael McDonald's not going to be there. Maybe it would have been 4, not 5. But it was the same seats too.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
That's fucking nuts.
But you know what I mean? Like when you see these people who have gotten what they said they set out to do, and then like instead of just focusing on that, they have to spend every day bitching about other people in the same field. You're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, it's stupid. Now
I saw not Shane, what's his name? I'm blanking now. Funny, Nick Mullen.
Yeah.
Posted a thing about Jake Flores when he got back. He went on a tour. And then Jake came back and was online tweeting shit about Nick. And Nick's like, you just got back from a month of doing what you love. You should be happy. Why are you like this? Are you sure this is what you want to do? And it's you got to focus on the good stuff.
Some people can't stop being what they are. That makes them great, but it also makes them terrible. Just like the ketamine queen. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's one of the biggest drug lords there is.
I love
and she's been charged in Matthew Perry's overdose death in a mafia suit. The so-called ketamine queen, accused of supplying the deadly batch of drugs that killed actor Matthew Perry, is a mafia superfan who has a website dedicated to the world of organized crime. Jasveen Sangha, 41, who was among the 5 arrested Thursday in connection with the Friend star's death, used the site, which was first reported on by TMZ, to boast about her love for the notorious Underworld Network. Hey, if you're going to be a drug overlord, don't be like, I love the mob, and have a website dedicated to it. Maybe pull back a bit.
Does it say the website?
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
No, not yet. Yeah, it probably will. Her obsession with the crime gang dates back to when she was young after watching the Scarface and Godfather films, according to the site's bio page. Later on in high school, I decided to do a research project on the mafia, and I became fascinated with the history and the many stories attached to each of America's notorious crime families and famous gangsters. The website is also broken down into subsections, including mafia mugshots, famous mafia faces, cities of mafia families, mafia history, and favorite mafia movies. It's got something for everybody, which is nice. Mafia faces, I like. The emergence of Sangra's crime-obsessed blog came soon after the alleged drug queen was slapped with a slew of charges tied to Matthew Perry's death in October last year. I can't believe it's almost been a year since we've lost the greatest friend of all.
Yeah, and since A Hoodie since A Hoodie with a boogie.
Prosecutors allege Sangha, who they said is renowned as the ketamine queen of Los Angeles, allegedly used her North Hollywood stash house as a distribution point for the ketamine that killed the actor. She's accused of providing the batch of drugs to alleged co-conspirator Eric Fleming, who then sold it to Perry, according to a California federal indictment. It's weird she's getting charged. I understand. She sold the drugs to someone who sold the drugs. But she didn't kill Matthew Perry. Matthew Perry did the drugs. I'm sorry. I hate to say it that way.
Jacuzzi killed Matthew Perry.
You
if he did those drugs in his bed, he wouldn't have drowned.
Terry and I can see 38 special on Shippenburg for $130.
Well, Terry, you buy those tickets, hang on loosely, and don't let go.
Is it for one person though? Because if that's for two, then it's a deal. If not, I think you're getting ripped off.
Just
Every ticket should be $38.
Just special.
Yeah, but dude, people would sell everyone. It'd be funny. A 38 special. Each ticket $38. Sanger was charged alongside Dr. Salvador, Dr. P. Placencia. Why is he Dr. P? Why is he fun? You're not fun. You sell ketamine. You're a doctor. Dr. P. Dude, just give me the drugs. What's up, Dr. P? Dr. Mark Chavez, Perry's personal assistant, Kenneth Iwamasa, and Fleming. The Friends actor was found floating face down in a hot tub at the Pacific Palisades home on October 28th as they were overdosing on the powerful anesthetic. No, they don't say the name of the website, which is great. I bet you it's easy to find. Yeah, it just says that she has one and it's a blog. So I'm sure if you look up her name, you'll find the thing. But who's the piece of shit in the story? Is it the ketamine queen for fucking loving the mob that much? And you just got charged with like, you are somebody who was kind of involved in the death of a famous person. There's going to be a big case there like that. And if you want to be like, oh my God, it's awful. Yeah, I shouldn't sell drugs, whatever. Terrible thing. I hate stuff like that. And then if you guys see my website, I love the mob and how they fuck people up.com, whatever. Yeah, doesn't really help. Maybe not promote and push the blog you have when you're looking like you're already an overlord yourself. Is it Matthew Perry for doing heroin and other drugs and buying it from people? That's how you die, stupid. I think we can blame everyone else we want. He's on drugs. He doesn't know. He had no one to talk to. He had 5 friends. Remember? He could have talked to them. That's not
4.
their Well, no, I don't have it.
Wasn't he the 5th friend?
I thought there was 6. Wasn't there like 6?
Oh,
I
hated that show.
3 boys, 3 girls. No, but there was Joey.
Sense. Yeah,
there was Schwimmer, and there was Chandler.
Yeah,
and there was Blondie, haircut, and tits. Yes, that was the 5. That was the 6.
Haircut was the shit.
Yeah, haircut was the shit.
Haircut could still get it.
I'm sure she's like, thank God.
That's Courtney Cox, right?
No, that's fucking.
Oh,
Jennifer
then tits
Aniston.
could still get it. Then tits could still get it. I want to be clear which one I'm shooting my shot with.
No, but like you're shot. Like Courtney Cox is watching this, going, "Oh, thank God, I can still get it."
You don't know what she's thinking, Pat. You just were talking at the beginning of the show how swole I am. Now there's a 32-year-old guy on the prowl.
I just said she's thinking, oh my God, I can still get it. Don't read my tone. Don't read my sarcasm. Don't watch my eye roll. Just hear the words. And the words are being a supportive friend. The other part where I'm blushing from the laughter I want to do is a different thing altogether.
She's starting Cougar Town. That's all I'm saying. There's a chance.
Is it Dr. P? What are we doing? Why do you have a silly name? Why are you also involved? Why are there so many doctors involved in ketamine and drugs? What is going on with this team? Who's the piece of shit in this story?
Well, Pat, Matthew Perry took drugs. There's a chance he's gonna die. But that doesn't make him a bad person for me. And he's not the one shaping the narrative either, where he goes, this is someone else's fault for killing me. Like, he's dead. So it's other people putting...
I mean, he might have. Maybe there was a note that said, this is someone else's fault. Dr. P, fuck you.
If it was a note to Dr. P, you know it's going to have emojis in it. But that's my point. Like, it's not him putting that out there. It's other people. And if you're his family and you're hurt that someone you love, you didn't realize the problem that they had going on, despite all of society realizing the problem they had going. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not that. For me, the piece of shit in the story would be Mafia Life Chris. Because Mafia Life Chris started the blog Mafia Life, where it glorified this type of thing. It created a network of people, and I'm pretty sure it led to the death of Matthew Perry. He also ruined Ron and Vez a couple of times. So for me, I'm going to say Mafia Life Chris is the piece of shit for inventing this website.
I think the piece of shit in the story is the article for not giving us the website, because right away both of us were like, I'd like to check this website out. And why wouldn't we have extra Googles? That's stupid. Maybe the post was like, we can't promote the website, but you're talking about it so much that you're promoting the website. You're talking about a ketamine woman that maybe kind of sort of had something to do with killing somebody, and most of the stories about her website and her love for the mafia. So just give us the site. You could say, we don't recommend it, and there's some stuff on there that's probably not for kids or whatever, but here's the website that we're talking about. Just tell us what the fucking website is. Because it sounds like this woman's done a ton of research. Since a child, she did all this stuff to make sure that we all know that she learned about the thing, and she has an obsession. Listen, people have obsessions with serial killers all the fucking time. Why don't they care? So it's not me, the person that created the website. It's the fact that the Post won't let us learn about it. Bobby found it. I'm sure it's easy to find, but why even go that far?
So I'm pretty
Put a
sure
link in there.
I'm pretty sure this is the website. There was a fan of O&A and Ron and Fez back in the day who created this thing called Mafia Life. And when I went there,
what I said was, this is her site. This is her blog. So it's not someone else's created site for a while back.
But
the site she's talking about, she created.
But he passed it along, I think. Like, he stopped running the website. And if you go there right now, it says it's closed due to a personal issue for a few days, which could be somebody getting arrested for dealing ketamine through that website. So I'm going to say Mafia Life Chris for giving it to the ketamine queen of New Jersey who killed Matthew Perry.
Possibly. If that's the case, then yeah, it could be that. I do, but like I said, I feel like it's the article for not letting us know more.
Let me know that site.
We didn't learn anything about Matthew Perry's death more. We all knew it was drugs. I don't care where the drugs came from. I know what you're saying. Hey, it's his choice, whatever. I never understand blaming. Like, yes, if I give you a gun, then you kill people, and you couldn't buy a gun your own. I probably shouldn't have given you a gun, but you still shot the gun. It's not my fault that you made a decision. I mean, yes, giving you a gun is illegal. Yes, giving someone drugs is illegal. That should be the only thing. Murder should not be charged to me. It can be illegal sale of a gun or illegal sale of drugs, distribution. Still getting a lot of trouble, but it shouldn't be murder or anything to do with the death, because that was the person who had the weapon or had the drugs and made the choice to do it. I don't blame the drug dealer. I blame the drug buyer. I say it all the fucking time.
And the only thing I would add to that is the drug cutter. Like, if you're intentionally cutting your drugs with too much stuff to make it potent, and you do that on purpose, then it is on you. Like, that is intentional. That's basically poisoning someone, right? Like, if you're the guy who's cooking it up and you're living it by the motto, if somebody overdoses, the fiends are going to come back real fast. So you spike one. That is intentional murder. There's a difference between that and a guy took too much drugs you gave him on his own and then drowned because he couldn't breathe. You know what I'm saying?
And even if they did give him drugs that were laced with shit to kill him, he still did the drugs. You're somewhat famous, not as much as you were, but you still have money from like that awful TV show you did even after Friends and other stuff like that. Yeah, enough money where you could probably hire a guy to test your drugs.
True. I didn't even think about that. You could test your drugs.
You're Matthew Perry. There should be a guy who's homeless who's like, I like drugs. You get a taste of each one first. I got to look at you, make sure you don't die. I'll have a doctor nearby and you're done.
I thought you meant like a testing kit or something, but no, I like your
a guy.
Go like the old kids. Yeah. I love that.
Goons. Get goons involved. Goons do drugs.
Before you move on to your next story, I was playing that video game last night where it's 5-on-5. And who did I get paired up with? A guy whose name was just Goon. And I was like, Goon Squad right away. And he was like, hey. And then we became friends through that game, Pat. And he dominated. I played his support character and got him fat. And then the next game, guess what happened? We were on opposite teams. And he acted like he didn't know me. And then my team killed him quick. And he was like, oh, now I'm just coming for you. And he spent the whole game just hunting down my character and killing me. He really was a goon. I found a real goon in the game. It was not a fun second game.
It doesn't sound like a good second game. I think that's where we're going to leave off.
Yeah, you got to go see llamas and get high.
We had some fun. Not even that. We had some fun stories like that. It was a good time. We did about an hour. Let's go into our weekend fun. A lot of cool stuff there. Thank you, everyone, for jumping in today. Chris, you've been dominating. You've been killing it. You really took over. Kish, everyone else that jumped in. We always appreciate Terry Nee, as always, jumping in there. Please like and subscribe, everything there. Head over to the Patreon, POS Podcast. I know we've been slacking on the Thursday Thoughts. We will get back into that. My work schedule's been goofy. There's going to be moving around, so we'll get it out there. It might not always be Thursdays. We'll call it Thursday Thoughts. Maybe we'll just release it on Thursday. Maybe we'll record it. Bobby and I overthink sometimes. Like, we got to record it on Thursday. Like, no, we don't. We record it after these shows sometimes. Like, whatever. So we'll figure that shit out. Can't today, but
who should have died instead of Matthew Perry?
Yes, but we appreciate you guys all being involved in that kind of stuff. My next big shows I got coming up. Really got a fun one, September 7th and September 5th. I'm sorry, September 5th in Derby at Twisted Vine. My good buddy Kevin Dolan. Every time he's at the place I do it, he packs it out. It's gonna be fun. So if you're in Connecticut area, come see that show. It's gonna be a lot of fun there. I got a couple other big gigs coming up that I'll be announcing soon. And we'll start telling you guys while we're going through the process of the album and all that, and let you know when the pre-orders are getting ready and all that kind of fun stuff. Besides that, Bobby,
if you can't join them, beat
you have
them.
nothing to promote quick? No shows, nothing.
Check out
no Earl Davids or anything.
nothing this weekend. I may have something next Sunday at Matt Mead's house. I'll let you folks know if I do. It'll
Keep
be
an
Mike
eye on
Bichetti
Bobby's
show.
Twitter so he can tell you. So if you're not following Bobby on fucking X, get over there so he can let you know where his show's gonna be.
And I do have something in Connecticut soon. I got to check the date there. It's with Joseph Ferraro. It'll be a fun show, so check that out. But more importantly, if you can't join,
Hold on, real quick, and Chris, because he's been nice, I'll help out Chris. Chris says, check out my show tomorrow at noon. Garrett coming on as a guest. So yeah, fine. What's Chris's show? Do you know the name?
I don't know the name.
Neither do I.
He
but
does a
follow
couple
Chris,
of them. Yeah, Chris is the
find
man.
Chris, and he's gonna have Garrett from fucking Compound. Garrett's always been great to me, and Bobby likes Garrett. He's one of the few guys people like out of all that shit. And then Bobby, and yes, Chris, come to one of my live shows. He misses Bobby. We miss you too, buddy. Even though I don't fucking know you, but yeah, okay. Now Bobby, do it.
One last thing, Kish. I'm not ignoring your DM. My phone broke. I'll respond to you on Twitter after the show. If you can't
You're
join
getting your dick pic soon enough, fucking Kish. Relax.
if you can't join them, beat them. And